is mighty sweet. Liberty sows its seed at Farpoint Farms.
Hey guys, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms here in the mountains of North Carolina. Today, I've got a new toy that I'm going to be hooking up. I'm going to use this in 2 locations, so it's going to be kind of a semi-permanent install, but I want to be able to move it between 2 parts of my property. The first one is my little radio shack, my little radio room, the transmitter's in. When I do live shows, I've been using a propane heater out there. However, I've heard from some people who are listeners that they can hear the sound of the propane. So I have decided to get one of these diesel heaters, and I'll leave a link in the description below where I got it. But when I was doing the research to try to find this thing, I started thinking about other uses for it in case, you know, it's only going to be used maybe 2 hours a month, maybe 2 hours, maybe every 2 weeks, if I'm going to be honest, out there. So that's a lot of downtime. I started thinking about where else could I use a portable heater like this. And my wife said, hey, how about the greenhouse? And I think she may have hit the nail on the head. We have a greenhouse. We grow stuff now with that greenhouse way farther into the season than was ever possible before. And we'll be able to start stuff way earlier in the season than ever was possible before. But there are times when it's going to get well below 0, and that could kill everything that's in the greenhouse. This will hopefully keep that greenhouse warm on the nights that it's going to dip way below freezing. So let me go ahead and I'll get it down on the ground here, and we'll start pulling this out, and I'll show you all the pieces. I'll make a part 2 that shows the install of this, and probably show it in the Radio Shack instead of the greenhouse, but we'll see how it plays out. That looks like our intake. This little thing right here looks like a muffler. And it does come with a whole bunch of clamps here. And I'll show this closer up here when I get it all out. Here is our ductwork. So that's going to be our hot air, and inside of that, 2 smaller ducts, if I can get them out of there, or just 1 small duct. That might be our fresh air intake. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that it is. Yep. All right. This would probably be our exhaust pipe. I'll go ahead and lift the whole thing up and out. Our 12-volt power, so this does require 12 volts to run, and that's just for the fan, really. So here it is. Let's get it off the let's get the camera off the tripod. I'll show you all the bits and pieces. This actually sits like this when it's all finished, and as you can see, this one has a built-in fuel tank. Some of them did not. Some of them had a line that went to an external fuel tank, and others just didn't come with any at all. It's one of the reasons I picked this particular model, is because it seemed to have everything I would need all in one place. And it does come with a pretty good sized manual here. It is a air heater 2 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt, or 8 kilowatt model. This one that I purchased here is a 5 kilowatt model. And yeah, pretty cool. So I'll go through this here, and like I said, in part 2 we'll make an assembly video on how it all goes together, and we'll get it fired up and see how well it heats up the Radio Shack. All right, here it is laid out. There's our manual, which includes instructions on how to set this thing up safely. Our main unit. This is not permanently attached, so you can put that wherever you want to. A lot of people are using these to replace broken heaters on in their campers, which is where I kind of stumbled across the idea, because my shed is about the same size as an average camper as far as air volume. So you could put that somewhere remotely located to operate the overall conditioning of this thing. And then you've got, of course, a remote key fob, which is cool. Here's our ceramic heater. You can look up in there and see these elements are going to be getting very warm, and the air is going to be pushing past that and through here and blowing into the cabin. So you can remote locate this whole unit if you want to have it, you know, underneath or alongside or somewhere out of the way. You certainly can do that. They do make a little bit of noise from some of the research I've done. The other hookups are down on the bottom here where you really can't see them, and you got your fresh air intake. That's this hose right here with a filter, and then you've got your exhaust, which is this hose right here with a muffler. Then, like I said, to power the fan and control the unit, you are going to have some electrical hookups, and they were kind enough to include quite a bit of wiring to go with it, as well as all the mounting hardware. look at all the hoses and hose clamps. So that's really cool. Size-wise, it's not very big. I mean, I would say it's 2 foot by maybe 8 inches. Now in the back here, it's a catalyst, diesel, the model number WF5001, 12 volts at 40 watts, which is hardly any wattage at all. There you go. And there's the back side of the catalyst fan pulling in fresh air. You do have a duct out at the bottom there that you can run hose. Nice. Very nice. All right, give me a second, and I'm going to unclip it. We'll open it up and see what it looks like on the inside. Okay, here it is with the top exposed, and you can see that's a pretty good sized tank right there. I'd say that's probably a gallon size tank, which is great. And then down here, this is all the catalyst area where it's going to be pulling air across that to heat things up. We do have a little fuse inside the systems in case you have an issue there. And up top here, this is our variable fuel pump. This is just a solenoid, a clicker solenoid that's going to allow fuel to come in at the rate you want it to. The faster it clicks, the more fuel gets fed. The more fuel gets fed, the hotter it gets. And that's it. It's a very simplistic unit. There's really not a lot to these things. And it looks like there's just a teeny bit of diesel fuel in there. It looks like it was run for quality control, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I guess that'll do it for part 1. Stick around over the winter. When I get the time, I'll be installing this and we will be checking it out for heat and functionality. Stick around and take care.